What's up guys, how's it going? First of all, yeah, I know, no hair. There's no elaborate reason, it's not a fashion statement or anything. I just hate having hair. It's really thick and uncomfortable and itchy. So I thought, yesterday I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna shave it off. Secondly, yeah, no intro today, no house music or electro or anything like that. Because this is a really serious video. So to people suffering with what I'm about to talk about, I'm not saying this is how it feels all the time. This is about me. This is my story. But I also know that being able to relate to someone in a similar situation can be very helpful in really dark times. So start off with, yeah, I have suffered with depression. I guess I still am in the stages of it because I've got therapy soon. But I'm at a much brighter side than I was 6 months ago. And yeah, I'm just going to tell my story. So starting from the beginning, a lot of this I don't fully understand myself. I've spoke about it with a GP for the last, not so much now, but for the last 6 months or so. I spoke to a GP every week to get updates on how I was feeling that week, how I coped, and trying to understand where this all came from. So the earliest memory I have of something that might have affected my mental health was right from when I was a little kid. I dismissed them as night terrors. They were basically, I couldn't get to sleep most days, most nights, because I'd have this overwhelming feeling of time in general being infinite. I think the idea of infinity is what makes me freak out. My GP has diagnosed that as an OCD because I have no way of fulfilling it and saturating it. A good example of OCD is some people can feel really dirty, so to relieve themselves of it, they will scrub themselves relentlessly in the shower until it's relieved. I have no relief from mine. It scares me. It stops me sleeping, and ultimately it stops me ever relaxing and having periods of just nothingness, because my mind will wander and I will start to see how insignificant life is in the grand scheme of things. My mind's extremely broad, and I see how time is infinite and forever lasting. And it's not as simple as being afraid of death. It's just afraid of the concept of time, I think. Space, not so much. The fact that space is infinite, that more excites me rather than scares me. But no, the infinity of time, yeah, that's led me, just to put it in context, that's led me to scratching myself, screaming to the point of hurting my throat, headbutting walls, pulling muscles and stuff from tensing. It's basically, I will do anything to myself to stop me thinking about it, but it's not fulfilling in the way that scrubbing yourself when you feel dirty is. It's more stopping myself from thinking about it, and it's something that I've still not sorted. At the minute I don't experience it so much because I'm always exhausted, I'm either working, I'm either at the gym or editing a video, and then when it comes to lying in bed and doing nothing, I'm exhausted so I fall asleep. So it's not as much of a problem at the minute, but I know that it will come back when I'm alone. So that's something I need to sort out, and that's happened since as early as I can remember. I can remember in my old house I used to feel it. I would have been 5, 6. The first time I can ever thinking about it was at my grandparents' house in Wales. It was watching the Doctor Who episode, actually. I remember it quite well. and they were talking about space, and then the Earth blew up and stuff like that. And it just suddenly clicked in my head that time is infinite, and whatever happens to me, it's continuing to go on forever, and there's no end to it. And it's making me uncomfortable now, but like, no, I can keep it. I can keep it at bay. But anyway, yeah, that's my OCD, and that's started from when I was a child. My depression started coming about when I was around the age of 16. It was at college. Something happened, making me very down and self-conscious. And what it was I had a sexual preference, which originally, because it was different to everyone else's, I was very self-conscious and insecure, and I didn't like to talk about it unless I was being intimate with a girl who I trusted. I spoke to about it, and it was okay for a while. Like, I think it was around 14 when I first realised what I liked sexually. And then it got to about the age of 16, and obviously it came across someone who I was getting a bit more open about it and stuff, and obviously not telling guys or my mates or anything, but I started talking to more and more girls, being a bit of a flirt in my teenage years, and obviously one of them wasn't trustworthy. I say that they're obviously not a bad person for doing it, because they didn't understand the insecurity that I faced, but because it was different, naturally when you're growing up, if it's anything other than sex, it is considered strange. So that got out there in college, and I felt really alone because I didn't know who knew. And around the same time, I started understanding more about homophobia and sexism and discrimination in general, because up until then, I made gay slurs. I will have thought, that sexism doesn't exist, that it's about being equal and stuff. I will have agreed that people can say, "Oh, I'm just not attracted to black people." Like, it was only after the age of 16 when I started learning and stuff that I realised all the shit that was wrong with the world. So at the age of 16, a couple of things hit me really hard. At college, I didn't talk to anyone for a good year. There were a few girls that I spoke to who knew about my sexual preference, and they were very comforting and they were very helpful. And that got me through that year of college, actually. But at the same time, like, school just sort of passed me by. I started hearing how frequent, specifically gay slurs, were said by the average straight guy at that age. Like, it was constant. Like, you'd hear it saying, "Oh, that's gay," "Oh no, don't be like that," stuff like that. Anyway, I know it doesn't affect me personally, so I can't imagine for a second what it must be like when it's a gay person hearing all these things. So it was just taking away my will to live bit by bit, I imagine, just understanding how shitty the world is currently. So yeah, this went on throughout my A-levels. Stuff started happening, like I overate. I was very skinny, but I used to eat a lot, like, not in the way that I eat a lot now, I eat a lot consciously. It was more whenever I was not doing anything I'd eat, I would take specific trips to go like KFC and stuff, but not with people. I didn't like socialising, I was just on my own. I'd go buy some food and stuff, and I'd just lay in bed and eat. And it's only looking back I realised it was a problem. When I was actually in it, I thought, I never considered mental health issue, because, well, you don't. You think everyone feels like it, but not everyone did. I'd miss a lot of days of school because of there was less of a demand for attendance in A-levels, so I missed a lot of days. I faked a lot of illnesses. I used to pretend to be sick quite a lot. I can remember making myself retch, like I'd put my fingers down my throat and I could never make myself sick, but I could make myself retch and stuff. And I'd try and make it loud so my parents could hear and stuff. And that would get me the day off school, and I never really understood why I was doing it. Like, I wasn't afraid of going to school, really. There was always that subconscious feeling, oh, who knows about this sexual preference. So yeah, I'd fake being ill. I had a lot of attendance meetings, which didn't bother me at all. Like, and yeah, this happened all the way through A level. Apologies, my camera cut out, but I was still socialising. I was going to rugby. I was seeing my friends. I was still doing stuff, but there was just those interruptions, those moments where, opposed to where people say they can't be bothered, it was more I can't. Like, you're in bed and there's nothing you can do to get yourself out. I can remember turning people down for every now and then if they wanted to go and do something, and I had no reason. I enjoyed it and stuff, but I just didn't go. I dropped off training sessions in rugby as I got towards 18. And I couldn't put my finger on why. I never thought about it enough, but I just, like, I love rugby, but I just wasn't going. I don't know whether it was I didn't fancy training, or I never thought about it. I only think about it now. So yeah, to start with, it's just these small interruptions. But what they don't advise enough is these interruptions, if you experience them, don't leave it too late. Like, go and talk to someone about it. In the same way as they tell you to check for lumps to see cancer. If you feel like you can't do things, as opposed to you can't be bothered to do things, if there's nothing you can do to get yourself out, then you need to talk to someone about it when you're having a better day. You can't let it take over you. You can't let it engulf you. It's a sign of you slowly slipping into a black hole, and if you haven't got someone there, not necessarily to pull you out, but just to hold you, like, if you haven't got someone like that, if no one knows about it, then that's when people don't come back out. So yeah, whether you're in a really dark place at the minute and you know that your depression's getting too much for you, or whether you've not even considered the idea that you might not be well, I would say, if you can relate to those feelings of not being able to do stuff that you've always loved, then go and see any type of doctor, any type of medical advisor. But yeah, I'm gonna make this video into parts, because this has just been the beginnings, where the foundations of where my depression started. So yeah, my message is, if you're feeling these dark, horrid feelings of not being able to do stuff, no motivation, you're not alone. There are people like it, but remember, not everyone feels that. Don't think this is what everyone experiences, because it's not. Whatever platform you're most comfortable with, whether it's social media, over the phone, going face to face with the doctor, don't do nothing about it. So yeah, that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.